Today I'll be going over the infamous dinner guy. Like, you won't believe this guy's even real.
I brought dinner for myself.
Yeah, my man was pretty freaking hungry. From courtroom drama to unexpected twists, join me as I unveil this controversial figure's journey. You see, Joshua R. Cullen, and yes, that is his actual name, was a plumber from Queens, New York, but he found himself caught in the Fairfield, Connecticut sting. Known for his blunt honesty and questionable choices, Cullen gained notoriety for bringing dinner to the house. But of course, just for him. Yeah, dude was so self-obsessed that he totally neglected the setup. And he was well aware that she was not his age. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's set the stage though. First of all, he likes to be called Poppy, which is like the Latin slang for daddy. Somehow I'm not surprised, but just take a look at this.
Hi, Poppy. Come on in. It's so good to see you.
That's not even the craziest part. Cullen was an active member of various dating groups, including Kush Smokers Rush and Love Seekers. Now, these platforms are meant for people, well, not his age, so you can already imagine the kind of trouble he was getting himself into. But hey, we're all about drama here. Cullen, who was 32 at the time, was quite the loner. Guy had absolutely no control over his antisocial urges and eventually fell into the trap that Chris and his team had set up. It all started on the Link app when Cullen initiated contact with the setup who he believed to be fit for his fantasies. However, things quickly took a weird turn. After some innocent texts, Cullen began sending strangely charged messages, even claiming he would go all the way.
Chat, he sends some sexually charged texts about how he'll take her virginity.
It was like he'd lost his patience to wait out and see where things would go and instead wanted to make his feelings clear right from the get-go. Little did he know that things were about to take a big turn towards trouble though. Oh, but wait, it gets even better, or worse depending on how you look at it. In a bizarre twist, Cullen told the setup that he would consider marrying her if she were his age. Talk about wishful thinking and gross thinking, right? Here's the kicker though, he expressed his fear of getting caught if the setup's mom were to come home. Can you believe that? I really can't.
12-year-old.
You make me more happier. It's too bad you aren't old enough to marry.
I mean, who wants to end up in a sticky situation like that, right? Well, clearly he doesn't, because he knows well and good that what he's doing is wrong. Well, at least he's self-aware. We can give him that much. Most men who appear on this show typically have this defense mechanism that they use to guilt trip the hell out of people so as not to get caught. But guys like these should never be allowed anywhere near people, let alone the type of people the setup was betraying. God, this guy's just embarrassing.
Tells him her mom is going out of town. Cologne reveals his fear of getting caught.
And if your mom comes back and I'm there, I could get in serious trouble and go to jail.
Cullen even goes as far as calling the setup to better get an idea of who he was going to be dealing with. Most of these guys are pretty cautious when it comes to this sort of stuff, and some of them take extra precautions to boot, and Cullen ranks right on top of the list. Anyway, you think the fear of getting caught would at least knock some sense into him, right? Nope, that'd be too obvious. Also, I got like 10 pages left in this script, so obviously he didn't learn his lesson here. Despite his apprehensions, Cullen eventually decided to visit the setup's house. Mind you, he went through a lot of trouble to get there since he drove a whole 2 hours through a storm. Now, if you didn't smell the desperation on him before, I mean, why would anybody go through all that in general, let alone the type of stuff he was trying to get up to? Well, I hope Cullen has some answers up his sleeve, because soon enough, he's gonna be scrambling for words. You see, this guy was just unbelievable. As he walks up to the house, you won't believe the audacity he has.
He's carrying an overnight bag as he walks to the back door.
Yeah, he decided to show up in a bright yellow car, and he even brought along an overnight bag and, of course, food. Let me emphasize this one more time. He brought food just for himself. Nerve of this guy. Honestly, if you're gonna be a scumbag, at least bring a snack for your target. And here we had our cute setup offering him some freshly baked red velvet cupcakes, but this dude had no shame. Anyway, once inside, Cullen did something insane.
Goy, a 19-year-old theater student who could pass for a preteen.
He immediately locked the door behind him, which raised a few eyebrows among the in-house team. Honestly, concerning. Like, it speaks volumes that he wanted to do, stuff I can't say on YouTube. Here's what's weirder, though. In all 3 days of covering guys like Cullen, most morons bring a bunch of treats for the setup. From flowers to chocolate, lemonade, maybe even a nice card. And of course, even a koala plushie. We've seen it all. But Cullen didn't even bother. Here he was, standing tall and mighty, giving a lame-ass excuse for totally forgetting about the setup.
I didn't get to finish my dinner.
Oh, that's okay.
It's not that we want any of your food, dude, but at least have a little bit of decency. But, alright, he did mention he was in a rush, right? Totally understandable, man. Of course, you were rushing to get here, where you really shouldn't be. Charmer. Total charmer. But it didn't stop there.
No, here, this one. Yeah, I know it's little.
Colin was so messed up that he couldn't even find the switch to the bathroom light. While he was struggling to operate basic home appliances, the setup made her exit from the room, tagging in Chris, who emerged from behind the curtain. Well, Colin was totally caught off guard after that. Talk about a comedy of errors, and couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Oh, it's behind you, is that it?
Come on out, Joshua.
Oh,
Little did he know it, this man was going to be shocked beyond his wildest dream. Oh shit, that's right. Realizing the gravitas of the situation, Colin immediately recognized Chris from the show. Oh shit is right, my dude. Well, Colin, what did you expect, honestly? Sorry, Bubba, you're about to have the most unforgettable conversation of your life. And to make things even more challenging, this whole ordeal was unfolding while he desperately needed to use the bathroom. Talk about terrible timing. I'd feel bad for him, but he is on TCAP after all. Anywho, Colin had come to the realization that he wasn't going to get out of this situation that easily, and if he had learned anything from watching the show, he'd known that his time was up. But he couldn't stop himself from saying this.
Keep your hands right here. See,
Meanwhile, Chris wasted no time grilling him, questioning his motives for bringing an overnight bag to the setup's house. And guess what? Wait, I'll let you guys watch this one first, actually.
So you've seen my shows before?
yeah.
Oh god, this man is just so dumb. The way these guys lose their confidence when they see Chris is simply hilarious. Not so tough anymore now, are ya? Nobody can replicate that look of defeat and betrayal of getting caught. And well, he seriously does look disappointed when Chris interrogated him as to why he would ever go for a person like the setup. Even more so considering he clearly knew her age.
I know. It was wrong.
What did you bring with you?
Well, Colin wasn't the most honest of people, shockingly enough. Everything that came out of his mouth was made up. Seems like our man hadn't exactly thought things through. Well, anyway, let's see what he said.
Clothes. Why would you need a change of clothes?
Because I was gonna stay over.
Man was trying to act so innocent here, but Colin, you messed up bad, my dude. Literally nothing can save you now, as it shouldn't. And he realized as much here.
Yeah. Yes, I. Yeah.
Did he just admit that? Ooh, looks like Colin knew he had to give up the act or else he was gonna face some serious repercussion. Well, he was going to anyway, but at least he took the honest way out. He was screwed pretty bad at this point, but all this is just too hilarious. Let's watch that again.
Yeah. Yes, I. Yeah.
Dude was so casual about it all. Ugh. The interrogation continued, Chris finally bringing up Colin's texts. Remember, he actually asked if he could marry the setup, so you can imagine everything else he had to say. But his response, you gotta see it for yourself. Here you go, folks.
Girl.
If she was older.
If she was old. But why would you even say that to a 12?
Aw, if only she was older. But hey, she ain't. So what's the point of even bringing it up at this friggin' point? Disgusting. As the pressure mounted, Colin was visibly sweating. Can you blame him? I mean, dude was caught, dead to rights. Honestly, it's hard to watch a big man like him sweat his ass off. Can't say it ain't entertaining, though. Surprisingly, this dude didn't want to reveal any more than he already had. Take a look at this.
I think it was okay to come here and do the very same thing.
I don't want to say anything.
Chris didn't hold back either. He kept asking him questions, and now for obvious reasons, the guy had to open his mouth. Chris still wouldn't let go of it though, and he tried his best to get more answers out of Colin, not least of which was about the skins he brought with him, and even went to the extent of reading all the chats out loud. Colin definitely wasn't impressed with himself.
So when I come over, we'll go to your room and you'll take off all your clothes.
Chris then asked Colin about his preference about being called Poppy or Boss, and he kept going into his intention, trying to get to the bottom of it all. But dude was intent on keeping his mouth shut.
I'll call you Poppy.
I don't want to say anymore.
Well, for a little bit anyway. Guys like these love to run their mouths. So what was the point? Might as well just tell Chris everything right away and make things easier for everyone. Man did remain adamant though, not denying his actions and being brutally honest about his intention.
Latin saying.
Nickname?
Yeah.
I guess all this had to have been seriously getting to by now, cause he seems really disappointed in himself. If only that disappointment came, I don't know, halfway into the 2-hour drive? Or, you know, on the first text or something like that. He had his moment in the limelight as the boss, but not for much longer. Every time a guy like this is caught, you gotta wonder what pushes them to act upon their horrible urges. Now, I'm not sure if it's because they just can't give a straight answer, but I always end up dumbfounded listening to the stupid stuff that ends up coming out of their mouths. Chris kept at it with reading the text conversations with the setup. You know, about how he really didn't want her mom to get involved or manipulated her to keep her from telling anyone about what would have gone down that night. At least Colin was man enough to own up to it outright without beating around the bush too much. He knew what he did was wrong and dumb, or at least he was acting like it.
I know, messed up.
Have you done this before?
And to answer it, he said no, but then revealed something that was super disturbing, even in comparison to everything else that come up so far. And it's really something that you should see for yourself.
This first of me
You just woke
taking
up-
a chance.
You woke up a few weeks ago and said, I'm going to chat up this.
You heard that right? Colin had been doing this for quite some time. Well, I for one am glad that he was caught on the show and his disgusting mind brought to light before he could leave even more broken people in his wake. He then openly admitted to traveling all the way from New York City, bringing skins with him for the setup. And then he reminded us of his profession. And I like to think he did that just to fuel my pun machine, because clearly, he ain't gonna be cleaning out any pies from here on out. Zing! I'll see myself out. Anyway though, there's still more embarrassment to come. Colin, feeling the heat, decided he wanted to try shutting up again. Little did he know that Chris had a few more questions up his sleeve. But I guess he couldn't stay quiet for long since he decided to admit this.
I don't know what was going through my mind.
You don't know.
No.
Most shocking thing about all this was that Colin was so afraid and caught up in the moment that after Chris started to grill him, he barely moved an inch. It's like he was frozen in his place and not able to comprehend what was happening. Can't say I feel bad for him to finally feel fear for a change. Would rather it be him than people like the setup. Of course, now Colin was feeling all sad and gloomy. Oh, did you get caught and now you're going to jail? Heck, he even claimed that he deserved to be put in jail. The desperation was palpable as Colin's forehead glistened with sweat and his glasses fogged up. Sight to behold, am I right? With the bombshell dropped, Chris finally revealed that this was a sting op and directed Colin to the garage, where he would eventually be arrested. And remember, all this was happening while Colin's bladder was on the verge of explosion. You didn't forget about him trying to find the bathroom earlier, right? Talk about adding insult to injury. Even Chris was shocked. That look on Chris's face had to have been asking Colin whether he was kidding or not. Just what was his thought process at this point? I guess we'll never know. As he walked out into the garage, he was immediately cornered by 3 officers who would cuff him. And for their safety, one of them was even holding a taser gun pointed straight at him. Following the arrest, Colin found himself at the police station undergoing the usual procedure of fingerprinting and photography. He was then subjected to an interview with detectives where he couldn't help but smirk while confessing everything. As a matter of fact, he revealed something especially disgusting. He admitted this during the interview with the detective at hand.
I did have sexual relations with someone older than 12.
How old?
15.
Oh, yikes. If it's not clear enough, I'll explain. In a shocking revelation, he admitted to dating all ages. Yeah, this guy literally told a cop that he was comfortable dating anybody over a certain age, and that he felt it was fine to do it. Like, seeing how terrified he was of Chris, I can hardly believe that this dude was way less afraid of the police. And to top it all off, he disclosed that a few months prior, he had gone all the way with someone he shouldn't have. Ugh, talking to the cops there, buddy, see how far it gets ya. Colin's nightmare continued as he revealed his ultimate fear, meeting Chris instead of his intended date. Again though, still not much of an issue with the police. You got weird priorities, dude. Then again, I guess being afraid of Chris goes some way to explain it. Still though, one of those 2 people actually has legal power. Anyway, this guy doesn't need any sympathy, he clearly knew what he was doing. Cherry on top, he explained his preference for engaging with people not his age, citing a twisted desire for a feeling of power. Unbelievable, right? Just take a look at this. Ugh.
More experience. I guess in some way I can have, I guess, the power, I guess.
You thought it couldn't get even more gross and disturbing. Once this episode dropped, you can bet the internet had a field day with the guy. Comments they left about the guy, well, they weren't exactly flattering. But hey, let's be honest, some of the stuff they came up with was downright hilarious. Internet was hell-bent on roasting this guy left and right. You gotta admit, he kinda brought it on himself. But hey, can't help but laugh at some of the creative and funny gems thrown his way. The internet never fails to deliver when it comes to serving up a good dose of humor and criticism. After all, someone said, I fucking love how he admits to more crimes during the interrogation. So glad he's such a dumbass. Oh, I concur entirely. Another commented, people say Josh Colin was rude for only bringing dinner for himself, but technically, Twink Toilet was the only person planning on eating during his time at the house. The only difference was that his dinner was going to be piss and shit. Comment sure was brutal and gross. Oh, but you think it all stopped there? Oh no, here's someone who knew the dude. He said, I worked with him for 6 months as a plumber. Feel free to DM me. He was interesting to work with, to say the least. Yeesh, being in the same room with the guy? Thanks. Oh, and this one's my personal favorite right here. My question is, why couldn't he have taken his shit in the dark? We've all done it at 3 a.m. Relatable. As the legal proceedings unfolded, Colin faced some serious charges. This included attempted first-degree assault, attempted risk of injury, and attempting to computer. Eventually, he received a 7-year sentence with 3 years suspended and was required to register as an offender. Justice served, if you ask me. Colin really needed some time to think about his priorities and get a better idea of when and where to take dumps. Now, here's an intriguing update from 2022. Chris, being the relentless investigator he is, managed to track down Joshua's phone number and decided to give him a call. Things quickly took an unexpected turn, though. The voice on the other end of the line suspiciously resembled Joshua Colin's, and yet they vehemently denied being him and hastily hung up. Liar to the end, I suppose. Oh, and here's a fun fact for you. Fans of the show often get a kick out of the many coincidences surrounding Joshua Colin. Remember the dig I made at his last name at the top of the episode? Well, him needing to use the bathroom during the setup and his profession as a plumber both make the name really hilarious in hindsight. Life sure has a funny way of throwing curveballs, don't it? Well, folks, that wraps up this incredible journey into the unforgettable encounter of the guy who brought dinner on TCAP. Remember, always stay vigilant because you never know who might be lurking out there, waiting for an opportunity. And if you enjoyed this wild ride, don't forget to give that like button a satisfying smack. Also hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. You won't want to miss any of the thrilling content I got in store for you. But hey, thought the story was mind-blowing, guess what? I've got an epic video drop waiting for you right here, packed with even more jaw-dropping tales. So make sure to check it out ASAP, and I hope you're prepared to be amazed. See you all next time.